going, everybody? Welcome to episode 83 here on Hawaii Football Now. Jordan Helle, Hunter Hughes, along with you here on this Wednesday morning. We record this about 9:40 a.m. Hawaii time, set to release it as usual every Thursday. So that'll be tomorrow when it hits the airwaves on our ESPN Honolulu family of platforms. Big mahalo to Spectrum Mobile and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union as well. Quick opening drive to get things started and kicked off here on episode 83. We do want to welcome in QB1, Brayden Schager. First time he's going to join the pod. We'll have him in the second half of this episode. We are scheduled to talk to him in just a little bit. So looking forward to talking to Brayden. Curious to ask him how the offensive transformation is going, how comfortable he is getting in that offense, and we'll have a whole lot more as well as he looks to build off, I think, a season a year ago where we saw him get better as the year went on, and hopefully that trend continues through the off season. So that should be a lot of fun. Any thoughts, Hunter, on Brayden before we get to the actual conversation here in just a second?
Yeah, one blaring thing that came to mind just watching him this spring was his confidence. And I've really desired that for him. Anytime you're going to be the starter at a Division I program, to command the respect of your teammates, to have coaches believe in you, you got to carry yourself in a particular fashion. And, he got kind of thrown into the thick of it whenever Todd Graham was here. And he was kind of in a battle between him and Chevin Cordero whenever he first got here. And so now in really his, second full year, I would say, of significant playing time, I feel like he feels like the coaches have his back, which always bodes well for confidence and resulting hopefully in better play on the field.
Yeah, without a doubt, right? And he had to win a battle at the start of last season as well, where there were a number of names in the mix, and I think he rightfully won the job. And again, I felt he got better as the season went on. All right, speaking of getting better, we did want to give a shout out to our guy Bobby Curran, ESPN Honolulu's own, inducted into the UH Hall Circle of Honor just over the weekend. His son's accepting the honor on his behalf, as Bobby's still recovering on the mainland. He sent in a video. You can view it on really any of the platforms, I believe, but definitely at the ESPN Honolulu YouTube page. It's got the full video of Bobby kind of giving, I guess you could call it his acceptance speech. But it was typical Bobby. Like, he thanked everybody, just about everybody, except really deflecting any attention from himself. And man, the list of names that he went through and gave appreciation to was really cool, really well deserved. He's been the radio voice of University of Hawaii athletics, particularly football and basketball, for decades, and is on the mend. We wish him the best. He is hoping to return home to the islands fairly soon, as long as the recovery keeps kind of going on track as it is. So it was great to hear him and that voice in the video. It was great to see him. He's looking pretty good as he continues to heal up on the mainland. But just wanted to start off the pod by giving a shout out, man. What an honor and a well-deserved one.
Oh, absolutely. I actually was afforded the opportunity to be there, Jordan, at the Circle of Honor ceremony, and down at the Royal Hawaiian in Waikiki. And yeah, for all of the inductees, tip of the cap. They've provided, significant strides for all of University of Hawaii, not just their particular sport. But to be in there and hear Bobby's story. I didn't hear the part of how he got into the business, and he met Rick Blangiardi on a whim, and through that, Rick encouraged him to reach out to Jim Leahy, Pop Leahy, and Bobby recounted that being kind of a dream interview for him. And so every Tuesday and Friday, he would reach out and kind of just used a persistent and bulldog kind of fight to try to get into the business, and it paid off. And I think for anybody sitting in that room, not only to see his fight still to this day, with his cancer diagnosis, but just to see where he was, where he is now, and those two particular characters in that story. Obviously, the late great Jim Leahy, and Rick Blangiardi is now the mayor of Honolulu. So very, very cool story to kind of talk about how he got his gig.
Yeah, it really is. It's really an incredible story, and all the stories that he has told via the airwaves over the years, right? As the play-by-play guy, whether it's been the morning show for decades on ESPN Honolulu. And I love the story because I do think there's a little bit of symbolism there where, Bobby's persistence and kind of how he got into the biz. I think that same trait has suited him well as he's gone through this health battle, right? And some of that hard-headedness, if you will, in the best possible way, to use the term, where it's like, hey, look, he was hell-bent on recovering and beating this thing, and we hope that that path continues on for him. So once again, just a wonderful celebration for Bobby, for the rest of the inductees as well into the University of Hawaii Circle of Honor this past weekend. All right, we'll get into the game time here in just a second, but a quick reminder that Hawaii Football Now is brought to you by Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. As Hawaii's largest credit union, they are committed to serving individuals and businesses through its 14 branch locations statewide and convenient digital banking services. As a leader in providing support for the islands, Hawaii USA is committed to strengthening Hawaii's financial wellness and sharing successes with members, local businesses, and the greater community. Visit HawaiiUSAFCU.com. Again, we've got Brayden Schager coming up in the second half, but a quick little rapid fire news and notes here to get the first half started. One news from the coaching staff: safeties coach Josh Brown is leaving the University of Hawaii program. He has taken a job at Texas El Paso. He heads to UTEP and will join the Miners there. He posted on Twitter, quote, "I have made the decision to leave Hawaii and accepted the defensive pass game coordinator at the University of Texas El Paso. I want to thank Coach Timmy Chang for allowing me to be a part of his first staff at Hawaii. The players and I had the honor to coach and the rest of the staff." And so a little bit of a promotion there, I think, going to UTEP, a natural progression. Remember, there was some familiarity with Coach Brown, with Coach Yoro from some of their previous stops. Obviously he had taken on the safeties, Coach Abe a little bit more of the corners there in the secondary. So we'll hold the fill on the coaching staff as Coach Brown will head to West Texas, and we wish him all the best as he continues on his coaching journey. But again, now that spring's over, recruiting starting to pick up for the next season and whatnot, or for the next recruiting cycle, I should say. A little bit of a hole for the staff to fill.
Absolutely. One minor note: Josh Brown actually came from UTEP. That was his previous stop before coming to University of Hawaii, and so can't help but think this might be a better move for him and his family. The majority of University of Hawaii staff are, if not alumni, people with deep roots and ties here, and so if that's not something that some of these position coaches who have aspirations of continuing to climb or wanting to be elsewhere, it's a better fit. So tip of the cap to him and the family as they head back in that direction. But you're exactly right. I can't help but wonder if Timmy will continue to tap into kind of Yoro's umbrella, you would say, of contacts and previous coaches that he's worked with. I'm sure they're fielding many phone calls at this point of people interested in the gig. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they bring in here to join the Brotherhood.
Yeah, we'll be right. Or is it a situation where maybe that coach exists already as part of the staff, right? You've got a couple of guys who are non-field coaches, right? More administrative guys like Jeff Reinbold, guys like Nate Ilawa, who's got a heavy hand in recruiting in what he is doing. And so sometimes you see some of those promotions, not necessarily that those guys are necessarily cookie cutter fits to coach safeties or anything like that. But sometimes you see some shuffling and things of that nature. So I'm curious to see, yeah, but maybe a good opportunity to find another guy with Hawaii ties. Hopefully they can help in recruiting as
Mhm.
well for this group. So we'll keep our eye on that. We'll keep you updated as we move throughout as well and see exactly what comes about with the vacancy on the coaching staff and who will be coaching safeties next season. Speaking of recruiting, one of the better recruits that the University of Hawaii was able to find in recent years, Cole McDonald, breakout game in the XFL this past weekend for the Houston Roughnecks in a game they actually lost to the DC Defenders. It was like a showdown of the top two teams in the XFL. DC actually quarterbacked by Pro City High School graduate Jordan Ta'amu. It was a 37-26 win for DC over Houston on Monday night. So kind of a cool Monday night ESPN primetime game, right? I don't think it was officially branded Monday Night Football, but that's what it was. In all reality, Ta'amu was really good, threw for 245 yards, 2 touchdowns on 31 passes. But it was McDonald, I think, who grabbed a lot of the attention, right? He hadn't been the starter. Brandon Silvers has been the starter, product out of Troy. McDonald entered the game in relief in the second half, immediately threw an 85-yard touchdown. And then in his 3 possessions at quarterback, led Houston to 3 touchdowns, completing 8 of 11 passes for 194 yards, the one tutty to Deontay Burnett, the 85-yarder. He also ran the ball 6 times for 37 yards and another touchdown on the ground. Cedric Bird, the receiver for Houston, caught 4 passes for 37 yards in that game as well. But I think Cole's kind of been looking for that chance to throw the football a little bit more. He had kind of been the designated running quarterback, right? He's already run for a handful of touchdowns. I think in the XFL season, they had very much used him in that role, but also showing that, hey, if you give him a chance to air it out a little bit, come on now, put on the college tape. The guy can spin it. The guy can make plays.
Absolutely. Actually had him on our afternoon show with ESPN off the bench yesterday, just as a guest to talk about the performance. And yeah, someone who is very near and dear to my heart, kind of like a younger brother for me. Our careers were very closely tied. Couldn't be happier for the guy. And it's apparent that for the majority of the first half of the season, they've viewed him more as Taysom Hill kind of a guy on their offense, where they're using him more for his body and his athleticism than necessarily his arm. And he, along with many others, have felt like there's a lot left in the tank for him to showcase his abilities. And I'm just stoked that he was ready whenever his number was called, because it's kind of a different dynamic whenever you're coming in for relief and called to kind of fill a void rather than you are the guy. And so it's a different mentality. But he cited some of the XFL, unique rule changes as being really fun. Going for that 4th and 15 in lieu of the kickoff. He really liked that, and then the 1, 2, and 3-point conversions. And then the other really fun thing, Jordan, he cited the run and shoot as being kind of the backbone for his football IQ that has kind of helped him in the different ranks of professional football, which was really, really encouraging to hear for not just us as fans of University of Hawaii, but any player currently on our team that wants to have aspirations at the next level. This run and shoot on offense is really going to help you.
Yeah, it's hey, play that for the recruits, right? You wanna learn about the game, come to the University of Hawaii. A couple of other quick updates for UH alums in the XFL. Ro Ferris, corner for the Seattle Sea Dragons, had 5 tackles, fumble recovery in their 26-19 victory over Orlando over the weekend. And Calvin Turner, who really hasn't seen any action, has been on the injured reserve for the San Antonio Brahmas, was activated from injury reserve and then promptly ruled inactive prior to the team's 59 win over Arlington over the weekend. So he's back on the active roster, but was inactive for the actual game. Hopefully we'll see him on the field soon there. Shout out to Christian Shimabuku, our guy over at KHON, who's done a really nice job of recapping things every week from the XFL. You can check out his work via their website as well. All right, one other quick note before we take the halftime break here. Kind of interesting. Saw this on Twitter. Israel Solomon, who's like an athlete, corner receiver who played a little bit at IMG, originally from Southern California, announcing his commitment to the University of Hawaii over the weekend via Twitter. And been trying to learn a little bit more about him. Just kind of wanted to put that on everybody's radar, because that's about all I got right now. I don't know if he's a potential walk-on. I don't know if he's a delayed enrollee. I don't know exactly what his status is, and when exactly he plans to show up at the University of Hawaii, but he committed via put the announcement on Twitter. He was at a camp clinic over the weekend in Hilo, helping out with Kilohana Hassenritter's clinic that he put on. Remember, former University of Hawaii product, who's actually now at the University of Oregon, scored a touchdown last year for the University of Oregon, Kamehameha Hawaii product. And so was part of that clinic being put on over there. Really cool stuff for the youth over on Hawaii Island, but just a name maybe we got to keep our eye on. We'll see what we learn a little bit more. Not a whole lot on the recruiting profiles, not a whole lot out there for Israel Solomon, but just kind of putting that name on the radar for the listeners out there. And again, we'll keep our eye on that and give. Yeah, I think like there's not a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
Beyond like the commitment, I haven't seen any comments on it. I haven't seen a whole lot of media coverage beyond just some Twitter retweets and whatnot.
If we haven't seen it, it's not out there.
Right. So it's like, well, a name to keep your eye on. And we'll come back with more in the ensuing weeks when we learn more. But just wanted to kind of put that out there.
No, totally. Anytime you get, I was about to say, anytime you get a verbal, it's awesome, but verbal doesn't mean anything these days. Unfortunately, just with where recruiting is, but it is encouraging. It is encouraging to see, especially someone from IMG. I know that was at least getting named with that other big time O lineman from IMG that this past recruiting season was it's big in the game. You have to get your name out there and swirling around, and by that I mean University of Hawaii and our program as a whole. So it's definitely a win. The chuckle was more on the side of how many times have we seen guys back out of a verbal commit, but it is something. So
Yeah.
If he does add to our 2029 man incoming recruiting class this year, awesome. And if it's years to come, stoked for that as well. Our coaches continue to impress me and kind of blow me away with how hard they've been working in just their first couple of years in this staff.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, that'll do it for us here in the first half. Conversation with Brayden Schager coming up on the other side.
This is Hawaii Football Now from ESPN Honolulu.
All right, joined by our guy Brayden Schager, QB1 for the University of Hawaii. Happy to get him on the show here on episode 83. Brayden, before we get into it, man, how's it going? How you doing? How's the body feeling now that spring practices have kind of concluded and you guys hit the next phase of the offseason?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. That we've been working hard with Coach Cook. Got a good weight program going for us for these next couple weeks. So it's fun. I think the team spirits are high right now.
Yeah, just kind of your general thoughts on how spring practices went.
I think spring went really well. I think it was good to get it going early. Really just obviously putting in this new offense, the run and shoot, and kind of having Coach Chang take this over has been really good. I think he's done a great job of kind of just introducing it to us in a way that's not too overwhelming. And we've just been having fun learning the new system. And I mean, it's a lot of the stuff we ran last year too, a lot of concepts. So I think it went really well, and I think it's going to be good to build upon that.
Are you guys deep in PRPs right now, bro?
No, we haven't started PRPs yet. We've been doing some throwing kind of just with the quarterbacks, receivers, been doing some like walkthrough stuff, but we're going to get PRPs started here pretty soon. So
for those at home, PRPs mean player ran practices. And we won't unveil too much, but the beauty of having the coaches' offices above the turf means you can run a practice without having to practice. Brayden knows all about that.
Yeah, we don't got to say anything about that.
That's right. We won't say none. Sorry about that. Bro, one thing that I've noticed just about you as a quarterback, like you're not afraid to throw without the laces. And so just a fun question right off the bat. If push came to shove, are you throwing with or without the laces?
Obviously, I want to get it with the laces, but I mean that's the easiest to get the grip on it. But I've kind of prided myself and if I get the ball anyway, you just got to spit it out there on like a quick screen or something, because you never know what can happen. I mean, there's times where you got to get the ball out quick, so it's good to be able to throw from any platform and any way you get the ball.
It's a big part of the run and shoot is getting the ball out of your hand and into the hands of your playmakers. Just give us maybe like a couple of your takeaways, the first real spring, how were the receivers catching on to it? How was it with you? It's a new drop kind of flowing to one side of the line, learning new that there's so much to unpack with that, but maybe just give us a couple of your takeaways from your first spring with the run and shoot.
Yeah, no, I think it is a lot different. I think the drops are the main thing that were a little challenging at first, just kind of getting used to that. Obviously, never really dropped to rolling one side, but I think it kind of just came with ease. I think it kind of goes into the offense. I think that a lot of the times that you kind of need to do those drops to get the ball out quick enough and kind of get your momentum moving that way. But I think it's been good. I think it's receivers and quarterbacks just getting on the same page is the main thing, just kind of knowing what they're going to do before they do it. And obviously it's an offense that's been super successful here with dating back to Coach Chang and and Colt Brennan and all those guys. So and we're just trying to get to the level that they played at, and to do that, we just got to get on the same page as the receivers at all time.
Have you guys have they dusted off some of the old tape from the Coach Chang era, or maybe a little less dusty when we're talking about Colt and some of those guys? Have they put that in the old VCR for you guys to break down some of the film?
We have, yeah, no, it's I always I joke with Coach Chang about it sometimes. It's some black and white film on there,
Yeah.
and watching him play and with his big old towel and everything is pretty funny. But yeah, up here and then he's all the way through. But no, it's fun to watch because I mean they operated at a high level, so it's the same concepts really. It's a lot of the same stuff that we're gonna do this year. So it's fun to go back and kind of watch the stuff that they did and just kind of implement that into what we're doing.
Yeah, and as you guys go through, the install and the learning process and just getting more and more comfortable, what about the offense do you think kind of suits your skill set, or maybe vice versa? What do you feel like you bring to the table that maybe can really allow you to flourish in this type of offense?
I think kind of dating back to high school, I've always been good at those timing throws, just kind of getting the ball out before the receiver's making their break and kind of anticipating where they're going to be. And I feel like in our last couple of years in the offense, we haven't had as much of that timing stuff where we're just throwing on rhythm. And I know a lot of people have been wanting to see that. So that's the main thing I'm excited about is just getting the ball out, three rhythm, three hitch, whatever it is, getting my feet under me and just kind of getting the ball out on time before the receiver's making his break and just being on the same page with those guys.
It's tough to put in mind of what you want the season to look like. As a player, as a team, give us an idea of what you guys have in mind. It's also tough with a brand new offense, just one spring into this, where there's still going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of install still to come this fall, probably to get you guys ready. But what sort of is your expectation for what this year should look like, or what you're wanting it to look like?
Obviously, the main goal we have going into every year is to win the Mountain West, and I think that the sky's the limit. Really, I mean, it's just about us getting on the same page. It's about the defense doing their job. It's about everybody just kind of operating at a high level and doing their job. And I mean, that's to see if that's going to happen or not. But I mean, I think that I think we're putting ourselves in a good position to be able to do that, and I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing. And I don't think you can really set too much of a goal right now. I mean, our goal is to win the Mountain West, but I mean, I think that the sky's the limit, really, just going out there, continuing to play how we know we can. And I mean, I think we were in a lot of close games last year that could have gone either way, and especially in Mountain West play. So I think we have a lot of confidence, and I don't think really our record towards the end of the year kind of dictated or kind of showed what we really did on the field.
One other aspect that I think we noticed just as alumni this last year was the need for leadership on the squad this past fall. And that was one thing I wanted to encourage you in, that I noticed this past spring, you really rose up into that role, bro. And just kind of wondered if, was that a shift for you of this is my team now? Like I really feel that that responsibility to kind of take this thing on and have guys follow in my footsteps.
For sure, yeah. I think that kind of going into this year, everybody's kind of been looking towards me to step up and be that leader that I need to be. And I think I've really done a better job of that so far this offseason. And obviously, we got a bunch of other guys on the defense doing a really good job of that for them as well, with Logan and Jonah and those guys. So, I mean, I think that I've done a better job of just kind of stepping up into that role. It's a lot harder when you're a younger guy. I mean, my freshman year going in, starting a few games, it was hard to kind of take over the team just kind of as the backup as a true freshman. And then last year having to compete all that whole time was tough to kind of focus on that leadership role as well. But I think now that I'm really kind of able to settle into that leadership role and just kind of know going into the season that I got to be the guy to really rally everybody around me.
Yeah, I think, just kind of watching the team and whatnot, is it kind of fair to say that you just feel maybe as comfortable as you have been, you know, now in your collegiate career, kind of in that role? Is it just you getting a little more comfortable as you've gone on and kind of helping you take on a little bit more leadership, kind of help settling into the role?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that the more you play, the more confidence you're going to get, and that comes with anything. So, just the more reps that I've continued to get in game, kind of just builds that confidence for me. And that's the same with every other guy on our team. I mean, I think that we got a lot of young guys coming back. We got a lot of guys with multiple years left on the offense. I mean, we don't have that many seniors, so it is it's encouraging to just see that all those guys are coming back with more experience and more confidence going into this year. And yeah, like I said, the sky's the limit for this team. It's just about how we play and what we want to go out there and do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people excited about it, especially on the offensive side of the football. You mentioned going through the competition, the battle, right at the beginning of last season, battling it out with a a number of guys trying to win that job. But what was that like for you to go through? Because look, everybody wants to start, right? Everybody wants to get that playing time, and we get it. But how did you grow from that in kind of going through the process and then eventually winning the job, and I thought playing better and better as the season went on? But what was that like for you, and kind of how did you grow through it?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a mental battle because I mean, there's a lot of other things you got to focus on and being the quarterback, and then you got to focus on competing, and it's a lot more going on. But it's really good, I think, mentally, just to kind of compete with yourself and compete against those other guys. It kind of just shows you that nothing's earned, and that's true in life too. So you got to earn everything you have. And after a while, it was getting tough. But then once I was able to take it over, I think that really helped us as a team too, just kind of sticking with me and going through that whole year like that. So I think that helped us towards the end of the year. And like you said, I think that's really this is really helped me going into this year. Just kind of having that confidence and having that belief from the coaches as well is going to help me a lot, and going to help our team, I think.
I'm always curious for any football player because I was there. How's your balance off the field over here? This is now your third year over here in Hawaii. Does it feel like home? Like, do you miss Texas? Like, how's that been for you now that you're kind of out here and established now?
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. My first year out here just kind of it was different, coming from Texas, being that far from home, just kind of a different culture than what I was used to. And then now I feel like really that's just a testament to our whole team too. I feel like I'm way closer to a lot of the local guys and a lot of guys from different backgrounds, which has been fun for me just to kind of learn from where all they're from and all that stuff, and kind of become better friends with them. And it's really just kind of helped me make this more of like my home now. And it's really it's starting to feel more like home. And I'll go back to Texas sometimes and be excited to come back here and like get back to work and get back to the island and beach and golf, whatever it is. So I think that's a fun part of it, is just kind of settling into the island and just kind of making this place home.
Kind of on the same note, Timmy throws a lot of pigeon words in with the playbook. So I gotta ask, bro, how's your pigeon?
It's improving. A lot of those guys are trying to get me to get better at it, but I joke around with some of the players sometimes, kind of try to joke around and say it, but no, it's not great. I'll let Timmy and them stick to that.
Yeah,
I
the hot
like it.
you got to stay in the back, bro, as much as
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
I,
Sometimes they get
I,
talking too fast. I don't know what they're saying sometimes.
got to get them to slow down a little bit there.
Yeah.
Kind of goes with the pace of things. What local cuisine have you taken to anything in particular? Any sort of plate lunch, poke? Like what's your go-to now that you've made this kind of home for now?
Poke is my favorite. I've been trying every single spot around the island. You know, I've made connections at all different spots. I live close to Nico's Pier 38. I'm always going over there. Know a lady who works there, and Off the Hook. I mean, I'll go to the Safeway and get it there. Foodland, it doesn't matter. I'll eat anywhere. I love it. I love poke.
There we go. Okay.
Yep.
I like that you've got like a guy or you got a lady
Oh
at all
yeah.
the spots too. You know,
Oh yeah.
that's smart. That's the way to get into it.
Mhm.
That that's good stuff. And yeah, and you were mentioning to Hunter a little bit of kind of what you're doing on your downtime. What's the next, couple of months look like? Well, it's probably a little less than that even before you guys close out the academic semester and are done with classes. But what's that kind of look like for you, maybe personally, and then from a football standpoint as we head into summer?
I think that the strength coaches have done a really good job of kind of putting together a really good program for us for these next, I think it's 6 weeks, or probably about 5 weeks now until we wrap up the semester. But I mean, we had a good testing period before we went home for spring break, and they kind of put together something that's customized to all of the different players, to all of us, for our workouts. And I think that's been a really good job. With main emphasis has really been on speed for the whole team, is just kind of everybody getting faster and getting that speed work in. So I think that's been really good. I think that's been a main focus for me too, is just continuing to try to get faster, kind of add that aspect to my game. But yeah, personally, I plan on keep playing some golf and eating poke and just kind of living life too.
That's definitely on the foreseeable future for us, but we're gonna play
Oh
some
yeah,
golf, absolutely.
we gotta get out there.
But for all those at home who didn't get a chance to go down to spring, Brayden got some shoulders now. I don't know what happened, bro. You've been hitting it, man. I see you.
Yeah, no, I have. I put on about probably 15 pounds since the season. I weighed in about 230 the other day, but
Woo!
kind of around there. But trying to keep the speed, kind of trying to get faster and also gain weight, put on some muscle, be able to take some of those hits. Don't want to be taking a beating.
Those Soleil's having an influence on you, bro.
Yeah, it's that all that rice.
No,
Eh,
that's awesome, man. If you had one goal personally, for this season, what would that look like? It's clear that this is your team, different than probably any of the other seasons that you've been here so far. What's maybe one goal for you as a player, and then one goal as a person heading into this season?
I think that my goal really going into it is to be first team All Mountain West. That's what I want to be. I want to be the best quarterback in the Mountain West. I want to be the best in the conference and kind of show everybody what I can do. And then I think personally, just continuing to grow as a leader and as a person and in my faith as well has been something that I've been trying to do just throughout this season. And hopefully I can just carry that into the season, and just grow in all different aspects of life.
Absolutely, man. And it's a pressure-filled thing, especially out here in Hawaii for anybody, but mainly the quarterback, especially if you're not from here. So enjoy the process, bro. You get to wake up every day and do something you love. Help keep it all in perspective, because at the end of the day, you're still a kid and you get to do something you love, you know?
Sure, I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, hey Brayden, we really appreciate it, man. We're excited for you. Keep pounding the poke. It's obviously served you well. Bulking up a little bit here, working on the speed. We wish you all the best, man. Have a great rest of the semester. We'll catch up with you maybe before the season starts once again. But thanks for taking out some time out of your morning to join the pod.
Awesome. Thanks y'all for having me. It was a lot of fun.
No
Appreciate
worries, man. Thank you. All right, big thanks to Brayden for joining the pod. Really fun to talk to. You can tell, man, I really think he's really grown into it. And the confidence has been building. He is a guy that I think has very much grown into the role. And I think he's ready. I think he's ready to kind of take it to the next level. He's been putting in the work in the off season. He's grown physically. He's getting more and more acquainted with the nuances of the run and shoot. And I expect him to play pretty well this season. And I think Hawaii can be pretty confident in the guy that they have right now.
I want to know who his poke connection is, Jordan.
Yeah, we got to ask him that off the record, perhaps. I feel like that's something we could slide in. We don't want to necessarily burn any bridges there. We don't want him to divulge anything that maybe he's not supposed to when it comes to the Poke Connect, because that's like gold, man. If you got a Poke guy, and
you know what, that might be his NIL deal right there, and that's not a bad one. That's how Hawaii's got to play, kind of in the shadows, is having a Poke ante for sure.
Yeah, that's the dream, right? If you can get that hooked up, boy, that's the way to go. All right, quick little 2-minute drill to get on up out of here. Little crossover, but University of Hawaii basketball program, they've actually seen a few guys hit the transfer portal here, including guard forward Beon Riley. Who knows where his next destination is, but I bring him up in particular because there's some other guys, Justice Jackson, some others from the basketball program have hit the portal. But there's kind of been a little bit of Twitter buzz, just a little bit, just a small little bit, trying to convince him to stay here at the University of Hawaii, but just join the football team, because he's a big dude, right? He's like 6'6", probably about 240, sturdy, can move. Obviously, he's a Division I basketball athlete, and it's something that's worked out for the University of Hawaii football program in the past with guys like Tony Akpan and Ikaika Alama Francis, and maybe kind of the other way with guys like Mayo Ostrowski, who went and played basketball a little bit. But it's not unheard of at all. But boy, if you want like a tight end or a defensive end or something like that, Beon Riley is built like that. So you could understand a little bit of the Twitter buzz. I have no idea what Beon's plans are. He very well could just be looking to head elsewhere to play basketball, but that would be kind of intriguing if for whatever reason football was in the back of his mind. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's kind of fun because it's happened before at the University of Hawaii. It's a pretty good success. I mean, Ikaika Alama Francis was like a 2nd-round pick or whatever he was, went on to play for the Lions. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And wherever Beon Riley ends up, wish him the best.
Yeah, can't teach big.
No.
And normally basketball players tend to translate halfway decently onto the football field, namely Antonio Gates and Gonzalez, Tony Gonzalez for
Tony Gonzalez, yeah.
Or Peppers. Peppers was a dual sport athlete over at North Carolina. Yeah, if he could figure out how to catch a back shoulder ball, I'm sure Brayden would love to throw to him. Love to.
Yes.
That's a big catching radius.
That's
right
a big target for sure. Yeah. So if anything comes of it, again, it's just a buzz on Twitter. I don't know if there's anything there, but kind of fun to talk about because yeah, hey, we're always looking, right? And we've seen that a little bit with Eddie Ose Kitia. Crossover guys. He's a track dude, but crossover guy, big dude. When you're at the University of Hawaii, you gotta look at all nooks and crannies for talent.
One thing I wanted to say, Jordan, for UH basketball, I know this is a UH football podcast, but I would love if they would adopt something that, Timmy and the staff has cited as being their main strategy, is keeping an open door policy. Transfer portal kind of adds a unique aspect to college basketball where maybe they come and try Hawaii for 1 year. Come live in paradise and play ball for 1 year. And then, figure out the rest of your basketball professional collegiate journey after that. That could be a unique strategy that Iran Ganad and his staff might look into. Yeah,
very well could. Absolutely. When it comes down to it. All right. That'll do it for us here on episode 83. A big thanks to Brayden Schager for coming on the podcast. Excited to get him on. Big thanks to our guy Jonathan on the controls. Shout out to Guy Hunter as well. Did a little bit of the behind the scenes work today, in addition to co-hosting as always. Big thanks to Spectrum Mobile and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union as well. We'll see y'all next week, everybody, right here on Hawaii Football Now.
You've been listening to Hawaii Football Now with Jordan Helle and Hunter Hughes, all from ESPN Honolulu.